Hey besties, and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Sophia and I love reading romance books. So today I thought it could be really fun to tier rank romance book tropes. Now I have done this before. The video is no longer on my channel because I detested how it came out. So we're redoing it. Hopefully with a little bit more success this time. So this right here is my tier ranking table with all my categories. So I suppose I should probably explain them to you. Up the top we have hyperfixating for a month straight because this trope owns my soul. Okay, once I read this trope I will seek out every single book that has the same trope and I will read all of them until there's none left or I fall out of love with it. But yeah, no, this is like god tier trope. This is my favorite trope ever. And then we have It's a Vibe. Now these are tropes that I will enjoy but I don't, or I will seek them out but I don't actively like read them back to back because I'm that obsessed. Okay, then we have I'm Not Mad at It. I guess these are tropes that I could take or leave. I don't really have an opinion on them. I don't mind if they're in books, but I'm also not upset if they're not. And then we have It's Not the Vibe. Stop. These are tropes that I might read if they're in the book, but I'm not seeking them out. I don't love them. I won't hyperfixate on them ever. I sometimes try and avoid them, but you know, it's a bit iffy with that one. And then I have Get in the Bin. These are tropes that I will actively avoid. These are tropes that I absolutely despise and I will never read something with this trope. And then I just have a category of I don't care / I haven't read it. This should probably be I just haven't read it, because the I'm Not Mad at It, I guess, is kind of like a doesn't care category. So first up, we are not starting with a banger. We are starting with Teacher Student. This is not a trope that I actively seek out. I have one book with this trope. It is Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. I had to put that book down halfway through. It's not that I didn't like it. I was in a book slump and I wasn't vibing with it. But yeah, it creates a strange power dynamic between the teacher and student. There's often like a bit of a strange age gap, and like I don't mind age gap or forbidden romance, but it's the power imbalance that I don't love. Okay, next up we have a Grumpy Sunshine. Now Grumpy Sunshine, ooh, that's hard. You know what, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. I love Grumpy Sunshine. I don't necessarily actively seek it out, unless I will actively seek out Grumpy Sunshine if the girl is the grump and the guy is the sunshine. That is god tier. I feel like there need to be like two different tropes for that switch, like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. But just normal Grumpy Sunshine where the guy is grump and the girl is the sunshine. It's a vibe. I love it. Okay, next up we have Childhood Friends to Lovers. This is not a trope that I would actively seek out because it feels a bit bland to me. You know what? I'm not mad at it, okay? You can have your childhood friends with Friends to Lovers. I'll read it. Oh, is it? Am I mad at it? Maybe I am a little bit mad at it. It's just a bit too bland for me. I need some like spice in my life. I need something, I don't know. I just don't want them to go from childhood friends to lovers, you know what I mean? I need some enemies in the middle, or I need some strangers in the middle. It's a bit bland for me. Okay, moving on to Accidental Pregnancy. This one is a very controversial opinion, as in my opinion is very controversial. If it is done right, this trope is fantastic. I love this trope. But if it's done wrong, oh, it's bad. Okay, so when this trope is used to like keep the couple together or something like that, it's not a vibe. Okay, that's just like, I don't know, manipulation-ish. I'm not mad at it, but I could be. Okay, so next up we have Famous Love. Is this like Warner versus Famous? No, there's another option for that. Okay, so I'm gonna assume this is like two celebrities. It's not a vibe. It's not for me. If I wanted to read about that sort of thing, I would just get a gossip magazine from my supermarket and get my fix that way. Famous Love, it's just, where's the flavor? You know what I mean? But then again, I haven't really read a proper one of these, so I'm open to suggestions. But right now, it's not the vibe. Okay, next up we have a god tier trope. This trope paired with enemies to lovers, this trope paired with grumpy sunshine, this trope paired with anything really, and I will devour it. I love forced proximity, especially when there's like a one bed scene. I just love forced proximity. What can I say? And it makes like situations happen, and it just like progresses the story, and it just catalyst, that's the word I was looking for. It's a catalyst for a really great story. And yeah, I'm not gonna be ashamed to admit that I would hyperfixate for a month. Okay, next up we have single parent. Now I'm gonna pop that back while I look at the books that I have read with this trope. I'm not mad at it. It can be cute or it can be a pain in the ass. So I'm not mad at it. I won't avoid a book if it has this. Okay, amnesia. I haven't read this trope, but I know I never want to. I don't like the idea of just the whole amnesia situation, like one person forgetting their partner and then like their partner winning them back. Like, okay, it's kind of nice that they get to fall in love all over again, but I just, you know, not for me. Okay, next up we have fake dating. Now I feel like I have honestly gotten my fix for fake dating. I don't need to read any more of it, but I'm not gonna be mad if it's in a book. Okay, I literally just finished reading Blindside by Candy Steiner, which has fake dating in it. That is like the whole premise of the plot, and you know, I enjoyed that book. So I'm not mad at it, but I don't actively seek it out anymore because I feel like so many books have it these days. After book talk, it's like a blown up the whole idea, so I just don't really have an opinion on it anymore. Okay, next up we have age gap. Now I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't actively seek out this trope anymore. Actually, I don't think I ever have, to be fair. You know, if a book has it, I don't care. I'm trying to think of a book where I've like actually really loved the age gap. I mean, it was like really, really forbidden in Birthday Girl, and I liked that aspect. But I feel like you could have that kind of forbiddenness with like a brother's best friend or a best friend's brother, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to have the age gap. And by the way, when I say age gap, I'm talking like big age gaps where it makes a difference, like not even as maturity level, but like there's a social reaction to this age gap. So I'm talking like Jordan and Pike from Birthday Girl. I'm not mad at it. I can honestly give or take it. I don't really care. Okay, next we have Runaway Bride. I haven't read Runaway Bride, I don't think. Was Seraphina from Twisted Pride or Runaway Bride? She was kidnapped, but I don't know I can't remember if she ran away first or not. I don't think she did. I'm pretty sure she was just kidnapped. So I'm gonna say I haven't read Runaway Bride. Would I be opposed to it? No. I would happily read something with that, but I just personally don't have an opinion on it at all, to be honest. Okay, next up we have another god tier trope. We have sports romance. I love sports romance. So far I think I've only read college sports romance. I really need to read The Wall of Winnipeg in Me and expand my horizons a little bit. But yeah, I love sports romance. You know, it's just hot when they play sport. And you know, the big sport that I follow here in Australia is NRL, and there's some fine players in that sport. Okay, so I'm just, sports romance, I will hyperfixate on it. I will read them back to back for a month straight. Okay, One of Us is Famous. I read something with this recently. Oh, Flawless by Elsie Silver. I liked it. She did it really well, so I'm gonna say it's a vibe. Originally, before that book, I would have not touched it with a 10-foot pole, but it was good. I feel like One of Us is Famous with a musician is just a little bit icky for me. Okay, it gives me Wattpad vibes, but One of Us is Famous with like a bull rider. This is coming back to sports romance, I just realized. But yeah, One of Us is Famous. It's a vibe. I vibe with it now, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now we have I Hate Everyone in the World But You. It's a vibe. The only reason it's not going god tier is because I'm a sucker for found family, and I feel like that I Hate Everyone in the World But You can't work with found family. Or it could. Things we never got over, I suppose. But then again, Knox doesn't hate everyone in the world but Naomi, so it's a vibe. But found family trumps I Hate Everyone in the World But You. Okay, now we're getting back to the good stuff. Would I hyperfixate on it? I don't think I would, but it's going to the top under Grumpy Sunshine. It's a vibe. I have only read one of these books, and that was Bound by Temptation, and I'm not reading Twisted Games no matter how many people tell me to. I'm sorry, I DNF Twisted Love. I have like a vendetta against that series. I don't know why. But Bodyguard Romance, I love the forbidden aspect of it. It's so good. And just the like back and forth and the like, oh my god, I shouldn't be doing this, but it's so good. I love it. I love it. Okay, right person, not enough time. Right, hear me out on this. I haven't read a book specifically with this trope, and I don't think I will, but I would love to write a book with this trope because personally I can't deal with the heartbreak of losing a character from a book that I am so heavily invested in reading wise, but writing wise, I would love to write that trope. I'm just putting it out there. If I ever release a book, be scared. Be very afraid. But yeah, no, to read this trope, it's gonna get in the bin because my heart can't handle that. But I would love to inflict that damage. Okay, moving on. We have bad boy, good girl. This trope, I feel like I will always just love it, okay? Maybe it's the Wattpad child in me. I don't even know. I just like the trope. Next we have bully romance. Now I've read 2 bully romances. I've read Punk 57 and I read Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did by Monica Murphy recently. And before Things I Wanted to Say, I was adamant that I hated bully romances, and I still am kind of on the fence about them. It's funny because I absolutely adore enemies to lovers, and when it's like real enemies to lovers, but bully romance just takes it a little bit too far, you know, like when she is getting beat up by this guy's friends, it's not a vibe. My opinion on bully romances will probably be changed once I start reading Rena Kentlow. I really need to get on her books. I feel like I'm missing out so hard. Next is Friends to Lovers. I feel like it's giving bland, it's giving childhood friends to lovers, it's giving real life. I don't want to read about real life, okay? I want to read about fiction and things that I won't get to experience. Again, I'm not completely opposed to Friends to Lovers in books because I'm wholeheartedly aware that I have a lot of Friends to Lovers books on my shelves. Do I? Actually, I don't think I do. That was a lie. But it's just not something I particularly want to read about. Brother's Best Friend, on the other hand, it's a vibe. I'm not gonna hyperfixate on it, but it's a vibe. If a book has this, I will eat that shit up. I love it. Especially, okay, Brother's Best Friend, it needs to have a forbidden aspect. They need to be like sneaking around. Even better if the brother and sister like live together and she has to like, the heroine needs to like sneak around. Wait, yeah, I got that right. Wait, did I get that right? Oh, I'm thinking of Best Friend's brother. The same thing applies. Like, I need that forbidden aspect for it to be like really good. Right, next up we have Good Boy, Bad Girl. I do not think I have read a book with this trope. I wouldn't be opposed, but I don't think it's going to be something that I actively seek out because I don't know. It could be badass, to be fair, but I feel like I don't want my boys to be like stereotypically good. You know what I mean? I want a little bit rough around the edges, so I'm not mad at it. I'll read a book if it's in it, but yeah. This, however, Mafia Romance, so good. Fictional Mafia, absolutely adore them. Real life, not so much. I just want to make it clear I'm not trying to romanticize the Mafia, but you know, it's fiction. I can separate reality and fiction, and this trope, one of my favorites. I love it and everything that comes with it. Okay, Friends with Benefits to Lovers. Have I read a book with this? Yes, I have, and I'm not mad at it, I guess. I just don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, it causes a lot of tension, a lot of angst. There's generally a lot of miscommunication with this trope, which I hate. You know, if Friends with Benefits to Lovers is coupled with looking at all my other tropes, and I have no idea, maybe like brother's best friend. I don't know. You know, if it's coupled with something else really good, then I'm down. Like if it's coupled with Bodyguard Romance, I'm not opposed, but on its own, I'll give or take. I don't really care. Okay, Secret Billionaire. When we're talking secret, are you like not flexing your money? Because if I'm reading about a billionaire, I want him to be getting around in like a Maserati and wearing expensive suits and buying me things. So I'm trying to think if I've read a book like that. Actually, you know what? I've read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, and I feel like the mafia books kind of apply with this aspect as well. So it's a vibe. It's nice, you know, when the heroine can get spoiled. It's nice. Right, next up, oh my god, we have two fantastic tropes in a row. We have enemies to lovers. You know, I love this trope. I think everyone and their mother loves this trope. Enemies to lovers, when done right, are like, I need the enemies to be at each other's throats with a knife, you know what I mean? I need it to be enemies, and I feel like that's why I love dark romance so much, is because the enemies can be enemies, you know what I mean? I don't want none of this like the unhoneymooners, enemies to lovers. I need enemies to lovers where they are ripping each other's eyes out. That's a little bit graphic, maybe not quite that extreme, but you get my point. Okay, and the next go-to trope in this little run is forbidden love. I will eat that shit up every time. It just adds such a fantastic dynamic to the story. Like forbidden can also just cover so much. Like literally any one of these tropes could be forbidden and it'll just make it better. Okay, next we have right person, wrong time. I feel like this is gonna go with right person, not enough time, because I need my happily ever afters. I need my HEAs. I cannot be left as a sobbing mess on the floor. I need my heart broken and then I need it put back together at the end. Oh, I just remembered Bloody Heart. And now it's not the vibe, but it's not in the bin. Next up we have Strangest Lovers. I feel like this is very much similar to Friends to Lovers. It's bland. It can happen in real life, so I don't necessarily want to read about it. Although Strangers to Lovers with like an arranged marriage in the mafia. Now we're talking. So I'm just gonna say I'm not mad at it, because you know I feel like there's a lot of other tropes that could be paired with that, which would make it really good. So I'm not mad. Okay, next we have Soulmate. I'm not mad at it. Like I don't really understand what that means. Like, are we talking fantasy type soulmates, or are we talking like just a normal romance book where they have like really good chemistry? I mean, I feel like everyone kind of likes soulmates then. So is that even a trope? Like, I feel like every book couple should be soulmates. Like, if the author is really gonna sell it. I'm not mad at it though. Like, I actually don't really understand what it's trying to say. Okay, and now we have the one bed trope. Now, I did mention this earlier when I spoke at forced proximity. I will die for one of these scenes every time. Like, if you give me one of these scenes in a book, I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna worship you and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Yeah, one bed tropes, great, but they have to be timed like perfectly. Maybe it's just a vibe, because I will love one bed trope, but I'm not gonna like actively, I probably will like, okay, if someone mentions it in their review, I will probably be more inclined to read that book, but I'm not gonna hyperfixate on it for a month, because I feel like that's a little bit tricky. Okay, next we have arranged marriage. I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with mafia romance. So if we're talking mafia arranged marriages, I am there 100% of the time. But if we're talking marriage of convenience, they're two very different things. But it says arranged marriage, so it's gonna go on a vibe. I don't have a reason. It's just, you know what, arranged marriage is kind of like Strangest to Lovers. It's still a vibe. Okay, now we have love at first sight. This can get in the bin. I hate this trope so much. It literally just ruins books. Like, I need my characters to be saying that, to be declaring their love at page 300, not at page 100. Okay, I feel like I've said this before at some point, but insta love is not it. It's not a vibe. It can get in the bin and it can stay there. A trope that can not get in the bin, however, is slow burn. Now, this is This is a vibe. I need my stories to have some element of suspense, some element of slow burn if I'm actually going to get invested in the story, because as I said, I mean, slow burn is literally the opposite of insta love, so I feel like this works anyway, but yeah, I need that tension, I need that build up, so slow burn is a vibe. Okay, next up we have royalty and commoner. I have not read this trope, and I'm just going to put it in that category because I feel like I don't really have an opinion on this trope. I feel like, you know, an author could do it really well, or they could do it really poorly, and that would kind of dictate how I feel about it. So I'm just going to say I haven't read anything with it because I haven't. Okay, next we have love triangle. Now, I don't think I have actually read a true love triangle, but I still have opinions. It can get in the bin. I don't want to read about that because I don't want someone to be torn between two people. You know, I want you to be invested in the hero. I don't want there to be two heroes, two heroines, anything. I want these two to just be invested. Unless it's like reverse harem, but that's a whole different story. Okay, and last but not least, we have friends to enemies to lovers. Now, I'm going to say it's not the vibe because this trope relies heavily, typically, on miscommunication, and miscommunication, say it with me everybody, is the worst trope ever. But anyway, yeah, so friends to enemies to lovers, it's not the vibe, stop. You know, I understand there are circumstances where maybe it's not based on miscommunication, but most of the time it is, which is not the vibe, stop. Okay, and with that bout of negativity, we have come to the end of my tier ranking. I'm honestly pretty happy with how it's looking. I don't think I would change anything. And yeah, this right here is my final tier ranking of book tropes. I am much happier with it this time. You will be seeing this video and it will be staying on my channel. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if we have any differing opinions, if you have any book recommendations for honestly any one of these tropes, because I'm down to try anything except right person, not enough time, and love it, and wait, except right person, not enough time, and maybe amnesia, because I don't want to get my heart broken. But yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for my bookstagram if you would like to, and I'll see you next time. Bye.